Hey, friends, come on.
It's time for the show.
It's M-A-D-O.
The CM Hangout, hosted by CatholicMom.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CM Hangout, our brand new podcast from CatholicMom.com. I guess I should stop saying it's brand new because you know what? We're actually on episode 11. We've made it into double digits. Woohoo! And so we can no longer use the excuse of being brand new for any technological happenings that may occur during the next half hour. But we welcome you to this opportunity to gather together as a CatholicMom.com family, and the chance to get to know you a little bit better, but most of all, for you to know our contributors a little bit better. And we have an awesome one with us today as our very special guest. It's Tami Kiser. Hi, Tami.
Hello. Hello.
And then with me today also is my stunningly beautiful co-host, Sarah Reinhard.
Wait, I was looking around for who your other co-host was. Crazy lady.
It's you. You always make me smile. So this is awesome. And we're so excited today to get started with a conversation about Advent in the real world and about Tami's amazing Smart Martha apostolate and some great work that she's doing to serve Catholic moms literally all over the world. So before we get started, Tami, I have your bio, but I always love to ask people to introduce themselves because that brings us the most important information first and foremost. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
I don't know where to start, Lisa, and I never like introducing myself. But so I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and I guess the most interesting thing that people love to hear is I do have 10 kids, and 8 of those are boys. So that's always kind of a fun conversation. And the second girl didn't come until just 3 years ago. So my age span, which is, the question most people ask next, is 27 to 3. So it's a big age span. But the 3-year-old's like 8 years behind the one above her. So my kids are old and they are leaving my nest. I have like this empty nest going on. So that's where I am in my life right now. And I also have 5 grandchildren. And so I've always had a heart for mother's ministry, sort of like you, Lisa, and Sarah, and, really big in teaching NFP. I started Smart Martha, which is just a ministry to help moms, really embrace that vocation of taking care of the home and taking care of their children. And I traveled around and did that for a little bit and wrote a book. And then on top of that, I also am into like celebrating the liturgy in the home. So I'm trying to help busy moms do that. And I know that's so difficult, and it sometimes can put moms over the edge because it's feel like just one more thing they have to do. But I try to, make that simple and show the benefits of doing something like that. And then my newest thing, like I don't have anything better to do, but I don't know, this just came to me. I just really felt good. It called me to do this, and I put the poster up. Now I mentioned to you that I was supposed to have furniture delivered this morning. I'm sitting in an empty room right now. The office furniture did not come, but that's okay. It's supposed to come yesterday, didn't come today. It's going to come tomorrow, so they called and they told me. I could see that coming in the middle of this, conversation, these moving guys coming in and moving all this furniture. But no, they promised me they're going to come tomorrow. But so I've started this conference for moms, and it's just for, it's for busy moms to get together and hold an easy conference or just a retreat day or day of reflection for the moms at their parish. And I have some great speakers that, normally if you fly these people in, you'd have to spend a lot of money to hear them. But so this is just an easy way for them to get to hear these speakers, but more importantly, just for them to get together and talk about these ideas. And then it's also available online, so busy moms can pull up these talks and listen to them throughout all of Lent.
I love that
project. So
and this is the second year for that, right? So
the second year.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to come back to that during the second half of our conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Because I can't wait to hear how last year was and how we're going to build on it for this year. And we're really happy to be able to not just have you on today, but hopefully to be a bigger part this year of what you're doing with that. So that's a great thing. We always like to start off with kind of just like a a fun question. And so I was trying to think of like, what's in the news this week or whatever. And, we're definitely all praying for those who go through these terrible tragedies in our world. And sometimes it feels kind of awkward to have, fun when such challenge and strife is happening. I wanted to share that I received just this amazing email this week from one of our Catholic mom readers in Paris who actually had seen, we posted this weekend, Pope Francis's message and also that of the Archbishop of Paris. And this person wrote to say thank you for those prayers. And I thought, once again, it was the amazing miracle of technology that can bind us together with mothers in France and with those families over there. And please know, wherever you're watching this, that we're praying for peace in our world. But we're also praying for Thanksgiving, which is happening next week. And I thought it would be fun just to say a little bit more about kind of what our family tradition is for Thanksgiving. So I'll throw it to you first, Tami. Do you guys have any special things that you do on Thanksgiving or anything that's uniquely to your family?
We do have a couple unique things. And, I mentioned the empty nest idea. So I'm sort of the matriarch now of my family. So we no longer go to my husband's parents or we no longer go to my parents. Everybody comes to my house. So I have the responsibility for all the cooking and stuff like that. So I always come to my house, and we've been doing that for many years now. But a fun tradition we do is we play football on Thanksgiving. And sometimes we've challenged other large families to a competition of football. So that's always fun. So it's like, it's usually the Kisers versus the Williams. That's a mother who has 13 kids. But we're thinking of moving on to another family because she has children who are in the military and 3 police officers in her family. And my family tends to be musicians. So we're trying to find another family to challenge this year. But if we can't find the family, we just play amongst ourselves. So that's the big thing, the turkey bowl. And another thing we do is we do what's called the Kaiser Awards. And they're sort of our version of the Emmys or the Grammys. And we have like little gold K trophies that we hand out. And, some examples. I haven't come up with them yet for this year. We'll who spilt the most blood this year. We'll just have really bizarre kind of topics or just funny things. They're just very humorous things. Maybe I think that's funny, but, so we'll count people's accidents and we'll talk about them. We'll give awards to whoever was, strong through the road. I've had the most stitches this year and stuff like that.
Does everyone win something?
What'd you say?
Does everyone win something?
Yes, everybody wins something, of course. So you have to think of crazy categories, if someone was on stage and sang a song and, so the best solo performance. So we do some fun, serious things too, but that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
It's recorded every year, so sometimes we look back and watch them, and that's a lot of fun too. But other than that, we have another traditional food we always have is always make homemade noodles. That's a very German thing, I guess. So we have homemade noodles, and we put them in chicken broth and gravy, and we eat those with our mashed potatoes and turkey. So that's a traditional food.
Tami, you live in the East. You live in South Carolina?
I do, but I'm from Pennsylvania, so I don't talk with that wonderful. I can if you like. I can talk like a Southerner.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how
long hair. I can do it all.
House to get some of those noodles.
Yeah,
I'm scamming on your noodles.
Sarah, I hate to make you follow up that cavalcade of beautiful traditions. Do you guys have anything? Your family is younger, so you're just still.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not it's not too late to start the Reinhard Awards.
There you go.
I love that. Who spilled the most blood? Who got the most stitches? Who gave mom the most heart attacks this year? Mm-hmm. Who slept the most combined hours? It probably was the baby, although it wasn't at night. We eat turkey. That would be our tradition.
Well, we're about with you. It's funny. Our tradition is. What do you do?
We eat. That's our tradition.
Eating is good. Our tradition is sort of that we don't have traditions because half the time my husband, who's an ER doctor, is actually working on Thanksgiving. So we've had to have all different kinds of celebrations. And it's funny because I grew up in a family that did have the big tradition in my family was that my daddy cooked Thanksgiving dinner. And so my mom got the day off and all the kids helped daddy to do it. And we had this, ritual of Tammy, maybe you do this. Our turkey would get cooked upside down in 2 brown bags, like the grocery bags. So you do all the basting and everything and then flip it and bake it that way. And then my mom had a very particular kind of green bean casserole recipe that she really liked to cook. And I remember one of the first times I cooked Thanksgiving, I was inviting my younger brother to come over and have it with us. And my mother-in-law was going to make the green bean casserole. And my mom threw a hissy fit because my mother-in-law used regular green beans and my mom's recipe was the French green beans. And so she actually was like, your brother is going to be really upset if the green beans are regular. And I'm like, oh my goodness, maybe this is the year that I say we aren't going to have any traditions in our Thanksgiving. All green beans are good and can go. So we're actually going to be in our non-traditional fashion this year celebrating Thanksgiving away from our home in San Francisco with our boys who are both flying there to meet us. So
Yay.
Lord only knows what will happen, but I'll be happy because I will be with all of my family.
Yeah.
What Thanksgiving is really all about. So,
Sure.
So Sarah, it's time to talk about our sponsor for the CM Hangout episode 11. And for those who are new to the Hangout, we provide opportunities for great Catholic apostolates or special Catholic people to celebrate and to support our ministry with a little sponsoring of this podcast. And so each week we have a sponsor. And this week it is Sarah Reinhard and her lovely book, Word by Word, Slowing Down with the Hail Mary. And I have to say that I felt so blessed to be a part of this project. This book is brand new out from Ave Maria Press. And I think in so many ways, this cover kind of represents the beauty of this book. How many co-authors do we have on the book, Sarah?
41.
So tell us the premise of the book. How does it?
So everybody, and it's a good book because I didn't write any of them. So we took every word of the Hail Mary from Hail Mary, full of. I think, Lisa, you had one of the great words, didn't you? Like an of or a the. Yeah. And we took every word and they wrote like this 500-ish word reflection. And then at the end of every reflection, there's a little prayer. But it started off as a blog series, so it's pretty readable, pretty easy. It's great writing, and like I said, I had nothing to do with it aside from just gathering rock star people to write.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Sarah, you're being exceedingly humble, but the collection of names in here is really, really fantastic. And if you're someone who, you know, is trying to bond more deeply with our Blessed Mother, it's a great book. And it's the kind of book that could easily fit into a purse or your backpack or diaper bag. And you can just take it along with you. And I think it's great for moms because every entry is only a page or two. Mm-hmm. So you can really have a great time of fruitful prayer and, you know, in the time that you could hide away in a closet for 5 minutes and have some time just for yourself. So check it out. It's Word by Word, Slowing Down with the Hail Mary from Ave Maria Press. We'll have links to be able to purchase this in our show notes. And we recommend that you get it either through Ave Maria Press or through CatholicMom.com at Amazon, where your purchase helps to support our website. And again, Word by Word, Slowing Down with the Hail Mary by the beautiful and lovely Sarah Reinhard, who has in so many ways drawn me infinitely closer to our Blessed Mother. So thank you for that, Sarah. You're a gift. And
I'm the gift that keeps on giving.
You are. And if you're interested in sponsoring a podcast in an upcoming show for us, you can just drop an email to Lisa at CatholicMom.com. I promise you it's very affordable, and we do our very best to support our sponsors by spreading the word, not just here on the show, but also through social media and at our website as well. So that's enough for sponsorship. And let's turn to the most important topic of the day, which is Tami. Tami, how did you first find out about CatholicMom.com? Remind me about how we got involved with each other.
I don't remember, Lisa. I honestly don't remember. It's been a while though, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's been like 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, just probably with the Smart Martha ministry. I'm a horrible blogger. I have tried so hard to blog every day. I just can't do it. But I love being involved with Catholic Mom because I just write something once a month. So that was really the transition. that I know I cannot do a personal everyday blog, but once a month I can do something. So.
Well, you're busy being a mom. That's why. So one of the things that's always intrigued me about the work that you do is, this idea of smart Martha and playing off of the Martha and Mary relationship to Jesus. What was the genesis for that? And how did that idea come to you?
Well, I've always been like a type A, very organized kind of person. And when you have a lot of kids, you kind of have to sort of be that way, just to manage and make it through the day. And so I was just becoming a little organizational pro, I could say. And I was invited to speak at conferences, and particularly homeschool conferences. And I would talk about organizing your homeschool, organizing your home. And I just got an epiphany one summer on the Feast of St. Martha. And it was, Tami, you are such a Martha. What are you doing? You're telling these other people all this information, but you are forgetting an important aspect of the ministry, and that's me, Jesus Christ. That's what I was thinking he was speaking to me. And I said, Jesus, you are right. Help me to see clearly how I can help moms out, because I kind of feel like, you've made me this way, Jesus, this personality, and one who studies and finds all these answers or finds ways to do things. And a heart to share with other people, but, I really want to serve you and help bring people to you. That's what's most important. So the whole Smart Martha, the Martha Mary story came into order, and I really modeled quite a bit of my Christian growth through that whole idea of, where does Jesus want me to be right now? We have to wash dishes. That has to get done. But on the other hand, where is Jesus calling me? And I find that, this is a gift that he really truly gave to me. Just that idea of like, so I'm supposed to be smart Martha. I'm supposed to be doing this the right way, the smart way. I just constantly have that in front of me. Where is Mary? She's choosing the right thing. Dear Jesus, help me to always choose the right thing. And so my talks became a little bit organizational, because I know that draws a lot of women out. That brings women out. They love to hear this kind of stuff. They want to, do a better job being a mom. But on the other hand, they still need to hear that message and choose the better thing like Mary did. So that was really the genesis of it all. And it stuck with me ever since. To this day, to this morning, when I have tasks to do. But, it's like, Jesus, where are you? What should I be doing now?
Tami, as you look at your apostolate and how it's grown, I actually am a nerd, and I went back on the CatholicMom.com archive. And your first post was January 22nd, 2010. So you have been around for quite a few
years. Yeah.
On the website. Yeah, you've been around for a while on the website. How does your apostolate, what are your priorities now? I mean, I know you would have started small, but what are your priorities now? I mean, right behind you have a poster. It's grown into a conference. I mean, did the conference specifically come from Smart Martha? How did I guess I just asked like 4 questions at once.
No, that's all right. I mean, it came just because, it's just a time factor. Just traveling was hard for my family, so I didn't want to travel a lot. And like I said, I'm horrible at doing these daily blogs. I'm just not a gifted writer like you all. I love to write, I love to express my idea, but just to put out a lot of information, I just wasn't able to do that. And so when this conference idea came up, I decided I'm going to put Smart Martha on hold for a little bit. She's still there, certainly a part of my life, but I'm going to go ahead and pursue this conference. So for the last couple years, that's been an aspect. I would like to go back and actually do something with Smart Martha, with videos and for moms groups, make it sort of a fun kind of thing where they can see some of my talks in video form and then discuss them. Because that's the fun part for moms, just to get together, talk about ideas, talk about what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And that was the wonderful thing about doing these conferences. I'd travel around the country, go to a parish, and I would just do some ideas and of course, bring it all back to Jesus and make sure that everyone has their priorities straight. But just for the moms to get together and really support each other. And so that's really kind of what this other conference is about. It's just moms getting together and supporting each other as well.
Tami, last year the conference was like a video format. Are you repeating that this year? And how can people specifically get involved in it?
Well, I'm pushing right now, and this is, we're talking about the holidays and getting things ready for the holidays. So I was sort of hoping before Thanksgiving and Christmas, God, I would get parishes signed up. But it's slow going. It's hard to get people to commit to that because we're all so busy moms. But the conference is until February 20th. So my thought was, well, let's get people to get this on their calendar now and sort of plan ahead. But I know, probably up until January, February, people will hopefully still say, hey, I can still pull a group of women together and we can still listen to this together. It's all video format. I also have, we are also live streaming Jennifer Fulweiler at 10:30 in the morning on the first day that we're offering this conference. So that's sort of exciting news. So the thought is that women who are holding these conferences all over the world, because we have one in the Philippines and one in Canada so far, so we're spreading out, that we would come together, we'd hear that live stream talk. And another important thing I wanted to do together is I wanted to do the Divine Mercy Chaplet at 3:00 Eastern time. So I know that's different time for other people, but I thought it'd be cool if the moms could all pray that together. And then if you're a mom by yourself, you're not with other women physically in a group, you can be online on that day at some point, and you can hear maybe the live presentation, pray the Divine Mercy together, and then have access to some of these other talks. There's like 20 speakers that I've actually recorded myself. I've got a good video team, myself and one of my sons. We've gone to different people's homes. Just a couple of days ago, I videotaped Father Frank Pavone. I mean, it's just, I would catch people here and there and say, hey, can you make a video for us? And the talks are fantastic. I mean, I feel so blessed to be the editor. I'm the editor as well. So I edit these videos, and I mean, I'm just like, I'm just reminded, like for instance, I was editing one that had to do with, this is Gary Zimak, about trusting in Jesus, and I was just cursing out no four-letter words, don't worry, but I was just so upset with the editing program. I just could not get it to work, and I was just so frustrated. But then, I hear these words over again, these talks, Jesus, I trust in you, everything's in your hands. So, I mean, what a message while you're trying to work. So I feel blessed just to hear everybody's talks. And I'm so excited for everybody else to hear, because I think the moms are going to be really blessed with this conference.
That's awesome. As we approach the season of Advent, I think a lot of us look at this time of the year with lists and so much in our hearts as far as, conflicting. We want to be journeying closer to Christ as we prepare for Christmas, but it's also like one of just the very busiest times of the year for moms. And I'm wondering if you can put on your Smart Martha Advent hat for just a few minutes and give us a few pointers about like surviving and thriving in the Advent season.
Surviving Advent. And so if you want to do the conference, sign up, put that up to the side for now. And then really take Advent as a time to be with your family and try to slow things down. Just to tell people, first of all, what I want to share with moms is that you don't have to do every single little Advent tradition that's out there. There are so many beautiful things. I know sometimes as moms, we hear what other people are doing. We see what moms are doing. We read a lot on blogs and we see all this stuff. Certainly don't have to do all of them. And I'm at the point now, I mean, look how long I've been a mom. I've been a mom for 27 years. And I've been doing these things for 27 years. So for me, we do a lot of the stuff, but I started slowly. You add one thing 1 year. And I really stress the idea of tradition. And for me, it's like, okay, Advent comes, I immediately know that I'm going to get my Advent wreath out just because this is a tradition. I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to make lists about it. I just have Advent wreath. I get that out. Something practical, Smart Martha advice is I have a big bin. I know we all have like bins and boxes of our Christmas decorations. I have this specific bin of my Advent stuff. And that has my Advent wreath in it, some of the other things that I use for Advent too. So as soon as my Halloween decorations go up or my fall decorations, we put them up in our attic. As soon as those go away, I pull down this Advent bin. I don't have to get out all the Christmas decorations because sometimes that can be overwhelming. We're just finishing Thanksgiving. We don't want to think about getting all the Christmas decorations out. And as a Catholic as well, I try to hold off on decorating as long as I can through Advent. I know that's difficult with so many neighbors putting up so many lights and decorations and stuff like that. And if you do that, I think that's fine too. But I try to put that off just a little bit longer too. And honestly, that's easier for moms, isn't it? We don't have to have that stress of getting that Christmas tree right up at Thanksgiving. You know, we can sort of just take things easy, look at our little Advent bin. So this Advent bin, and I just collect things in that every year. You know, we get the first year, if you're starting Advent out, you have your Advent wreath, so you've got that in there. I've collected a series of Advent books. Those are in there. I have, a St. Nick statue. That's in there. So a Jesse tree. And that's another big undertaking. So once you've got the Advent wreath down one year, you know, the next year, the years after that, you want to start the Jesse tree tradition, start the Jesse tree tradition. You know, start slow, and then you just keep all this stuff together. It's just sort of a natural thing that these things happen. And it does take a little bit of planning. I mean, I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but if the planning stresses you out, then just step back a little bit and don't do it. The important thing is that you're doing things with your family, and I guess that's why I like all the traditions, because for me, and if these things stop pointing to Jesus for you, then you shouldn't be doing them. These are just ways for me to stop and say, hey, this is what Advent's all about. I light this candle at dinner with my family because we're getting ready to celebrate, you know, Christmas. And that time that, you know, we light that candle, that's just time for us to get together, pray, and sit down and eat dinner together. For us, many of these traditions we do right after dinner. You know, we'll stick the Jesse tree thing on at dinner. You guys have to sit down and eat dinner anyway, so take a little 5 or 10 minutes out of that time and do something that's towards Advent. But, you know, I honestly could go on and on, Lisa, and talk for hours on Advent. But I guess the point I want to make, I don't want to just keep rattling on, is, you know, start slow and make them a tradition so that every year you can come back to them. And if they start being a burden to you, cut back, because that's not their purpose. And if they start making your family not remember Christ at Christmas, then stop doing that. Any specific questions that you want to ask me about Advent? Because like I said, I could go on and on. I have another ministry. I told you this, the Liturgy of the Family, and I should put that website up there. But if you wanted to search CatholicFamilyCelebrations.com, I have things for all year that are just very simple things. You know, they're not super crafty. You know, like you don't have to get a lot of paste out.
Yay!
And they're not, you know, and because there's some wonderful sites out there. So there's no end of information out there about Advent stuff. So if you wanted to find something, just search Advent. You'll get lots of ideas. But I try to do things that are, you know, for real families that are busy, that don't have a lot of time. And so that's what I'm sort of putting my site towards. And also, my children are older, and teenagers can be pretty cynical sometimes, you know. So you don't want you know, some really kind of corny things around the table going on. And like I said, I have a lot of boys, so we don't have a lot of touchy-feely things. We don't have a lot of crafty things going on. You know, we'll do some cooking, but that's usually just reserved for the little kids, you know, that we're doing. Although I do make my boys do some things. They love doing some things in the kitchen together. But, you know, I say more towards for older families too, because I think sometimes we think these crafts are so childlike. And then when the kids, you know, they outgrow them. And we don't want that to be the case, because these are beautiful celebrations that we have in our family throughout the age of our whole family. So CatholicFamilyCelebrations.com. You can look there and you can look at the Advent tab, and you'll see, you know, some of the stuff that we do for Advent.
Sarah, you're muted. She's talking.
She's talking, but we don't hear her. We're trying to read lips, but nope.
Let's see if we can get Sarah in there. Your sound is turned off, dear. So I'll ask that. This is the perfect opportunity.
Yes, Sarah's muted.
So she's for our non-video viewers. She's going through lapses of frustration right now. We're getting short on time anyway. So
yeah.
But Tami, you know, you said something about, you know, the idea that these celebrations draw us closer to Christ. I think that's something that's really important to dwell on, especially with with women and moms, that sometimes I think we can, and I know this because I've done it for myself for a long time when, before my husband had come into the church, and I had these 2 young boys, and I was really looking for ways to express my faith with them and to teach them. But I would look around me and think, everyone else just has this down, and what's wrong with me, Lord, that I can't, I can't get my act together and look at what XYZ family is doing over here. And then for me, I'm just lucky if, we can get a candle lit on the Advent wreath without burning the kitchen table down. And why is this so hard? I think along with looking towards Christ, we need to, during the season of Advent, look inward as families. It's kind of interesting because the society is telling us, go to the mall, do all our shopping, busy, busy, busy. There's 8 million parties to go to. But at the same time, as Catholic families, we're looking inwards toward the manger, and we're journeying like Mary and Joseph did to Bethlehem. And it's very much a time to kind of come inside of ourselves. And I'd say that the stress that you have on looking towards the Christ child and looking towards family is a beautiful message. And that, if the truth of your reality is that you don't do a single craft this year, and that, your Advent time is simply your family gathered around a green wreath, praying in whatever way it's beautiful for you, don't feel bad about that. I think
that is so for sure, Lisa. That is so for sure. The wreath serves as a reminder. That's the only reason why it's there. It is to remind us of that. It's not to stress us out. And so it is nice to have a wreath, and honestly, that's a real simple thing. Buying purple candles, though, these are on my desk.
Look at how organized you are.
Makers to buy purple candles. I was at a Catholic bookstore, so I'm like, oh, dang, I got to get purple candles. I mean, we've started Advent with all different color candles, because if you go to Walmart, they don't have purple candles, for instance. So any candles, any wreath on the table. But yeah, you're right, Lisa. And it is a time to sort of come into ourselves. And so these things that we do are tools for that. And if they stop being that, then we should not be doing them. And that's what's nice about sort of saying, we're not going to put up our Christmas decorations yet, because we're keeping things sort of simple. And, and I think that's a loud message that we sort of give to our kids, is that, we celebrate Christmas a little bit different than the rest of society. And I always kind of make that, at one way I say that, at one side of my mouth I say that, but on the other side of my mouth I have a sympathy for the culture, though, because, them wanting to buy all this stuff for people, wanting to decorate, it's just these desires they have that really are not being fulfilled, and they're looking to fulfill this desire of wanting to give of themselves and wanting beauty and wanting, that love that Christmas promises to everybody. And, they're just in a frenzy. They're looking for that. They're just really looking for that. And Christ is the only thing that's going to, fulfill that in them. So we don't want to condemn the culture. They've got that desire, but we know the answer. We know how that desire is truly fulfilled in Christ. And it's not going to be through buying lots of stuff and fancy lights. And those are sort of, extras out there that are just one way that we celebrate that desire and that fulfillment that we have in ourselves. And so that's the message we try to give to our kids. And that's why, our house is a little bit more simple at Christmas time, but yet we do get decorations. We do celebrate, and Christmas is a little bit closer. I mean, we can't hold it off completely till Christmas Eve, but, we hold it off a little bit. Just to say that, this is the real meaning. This is what people are searching for out there. And, we have the answer, people,
Sarah, do you have your voice back? Sarah.
Oh, she does. Sarah's back. Nope, she's not. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Yay.
Do you have a final question for Tami?
Yeah. So before I had my little throw a fit on top of Catholic Hangout. Yeah, I was just going to say, I was looking at the website as you were talking about it, and that celebrating Catholic family tradition. Okay, it's Catholic family celebrations.
Yeah, sorry. It's helpful. I was trying to make it be very.
I like sharing it on my own Facebook and social media things as you're talking, going, oh, this is great. Because so many times I am not a crafty person, and though I have girls, they have kind of learned that mom can be crafty, and that, look, that's my phone reminder in the background telling me that I have to go pick them up. Even though they can be crafty, sometimes I think we get so caught up in the stuff, like you were saying, not just the decorations, but the things we have to do. I love this website you put together, and I wanted to mention that there's a neat little thing right in the middle of the page, and you can sign up, and apparently you will send a little email with telling us what we should do. Yes.
I'm so negligent. Like I told you, I'm horrible at the blog thing. But yeah.
Okay. Well, there's tons of stuff
people
on
sign up. Maybe I won't get on it again. But honestly, it's just a reminder to go back to that webpage and look for that month. And it's basically just hey, here's a few things you can do this month if you want.
I've been
very simply that.
One of the things I know I've come across is a lot of times there are lots of resources if you have a young family. But now my oldest is 10, and I'm seeing that she's kind of getting to be right to the cusp of what all the popular stuff is. So all the really cute things are kind of age 10 and below. So she's right on the edge.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is my first time through doing it. So I'm for one really appreciative of that site. But I did want to ask you, and it's a question I think you've answered already, but I kind of wanted to pull out the answer as it is. What do you think moms are looking for the most today? What do you think they need the most today?
No, just that simple question, Sarah.
Just an easy question. You can just toss out the answer. We'll pray we're done.
Clear answer. I don't know. We need Jesus. How about that for an answer?
Well, that's where I thought you were going to go with it. Because that's what I've been hearing you say.
And our children need Jesus. And, of course, they're in the middle of a consecration, so the best way to get that is offering it to Mary, of course. That's what our moms need. But, maybe on a more practical level, I would like to see moms get together and have support groups. And, I think blogs are great because I know lots of moms that learn a lot from blogs because they don't have other like-minded Catholic moms around them, so they like that. But I also think they need real live moms around them as well. I'd like to see moms get support like that. And that can really help people grow in their faith. And if they have even something similar about their faith, a little bit of depth there that they can talk about something meaningful, I think that helps moms out,
Tami, I agree with you 100% that in person, that person to person, real world nurturing that we can give each other as sisters in Christ, that's so important. And no blog, no matter how big it is ever going to take the place of sitting with a girlfriend, having a real relationship.
Right.
Certainly the websites can be vehicles to, I would say Sarah and I get to spend very little time in person, and yet she's actually one of my most profound and dearest friends. And so that is a very beautiful byproduct of the website. But this idea that we can bring it home into our parishes, especially through the resources that you provided are.
Yeah, and any resources, right? Any resources. I think anything that can bring moms together. I had a moms group one time where we unfortunately did crafts. We came together and did crafts, Sarah. Maybe you would love that, But it was fun because we had the moms that got together, So and now I'm in the well-read mom group. So we get together and we talk about some really obscure piece of literature. Now, they're not all obscure. Just the one for this month's obscure, which I did not read, by the way, for this month. Anyone who else is a well-read mom person. But, and really just getting together and supporting each other. Yeah.
So the bottom line is, along with the Smart Partha resources, definitely check out Tami's Catholic Conferences for Moms.com, which is really an out of the box, you don't have to do a lot of organizing. She's done it all for you. So if you really are someone who has looked around your parish and said, there's nothing here for me, then what I want you to do is go to Tami's website, Catholic Conferences for Moms, and the 4 is the number 4. Catholic Conferences 4moms.com, and go there, print out some of the resources, and then make an appointment maybe with your pastor to go in and to say, Father, we would really love to bring this to our church. You don't have to do anything. I don't need a bunch of money from you. This is all organized, and here's how we're going to do it for this year. The clock is ticking, so even though we're nearing the holidays, it'd be smart for you to get an appointment now.
Before Easter, so you can just concentrate in Advent on your family.
Absolutely. Right? So we'll have links at CatholicMom.com in our show notes to CatholicConferencesForMoms.com, the way that you can so easily, and if you don't want to do it at your parish and you want to do it within the comfort of your home, maybe invite 3 or 4 girlfriends over.
That's right.
It's very flexible, so it's really a perfect thing. So let's stop waiting for somebody else to organize this for us. Tammy's done all the heavy lifting. It's time for us to just unpack it and bring it home. So
Tammy did organize it.
Tammy, any final thoughts before we go to our closing prayer for today?
Oh, no. I have so much I could talk about Advent. I love these liturgical seasons. I just would love to do anything I can to help moms to give these a try, but not to get stressed out about it. So, no, I don't know. I guess not. I'm trying to think of something profound to end with, but I don't have anything.
Love Jesus and love him in your home.
Love Jesus through Mary. That's right. And get some good girlfriends. And talk about some good things.
Well, we'll have links to all of Tammy's websites and all the resources that we've talked about today. She's mentioned it a few times, but we do want to invite you. We have this great thing happening at the website. We're in the midst of our 33-day total consecration retreat. Don't worry if you didn't get started with us. You can jump in at any time. This is going to be something that'll live on at the website, so we'll be reminding you as the next time to start a consecration retreat comes up. But please come over and pray with us. We're just having such a profound and beautiful experience with this retreat. And in absence of anything else, and because we're running short on time, I'm just going to ask Sarah to close us in prayer.
Okay.
Sarah.
All right. And I am going to just turn to Mary because it's my go-to. She's my go-to gal. So in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, Lord, thank you for this wonderful time together. We ask that everybody who has listened to us be blessed and carry this out into the hills and bring the Catholic Conference, or bring themselves together so that they can feast each other. I don't know. I'm using terrible words today. It's the end of the day. So we'll just turn it to Mary and leave it with her. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Sarah Reinhard. You can find her at snoringscholar.com. Be sure to check out Word by Word, Slowing Down with the Hail Mary. Tami Kiser can be found at smartmartha.com, CatholicFamilyCelebrations.com, and Catholic Conferences for 4moms.com. Thanks, Tami, for being with us today. And to all of you who joined us at the CM Hangout, we'll see you next Tuesday. God bless. Have a great day.